Hello beautiful people! Welcome to a new video. Today we wanted to share with you how do we create a sacred space. You might have noticed we launched the sacred place, but how do you create this space for you in your own house, in your room? How can we create something special and make us feel connected as a tool for more presence and a deeper practice? And we're going to share with you our little tips and tricks.
Yes, yeah. And you may have noticed actually that creating sacred space is not something really out there. It's something that we naturally already do all the time. For example, if you enjoy taking a bath and just lighting a little candle, using some essential oils, you're creating a sacred space for yourself. If you like tidying your room and having everything really nice in order to read a book and relax, you're creating sacred space for yourself. And this idea of creating sacred space is actually something that happens on the inside. So the true sacred space that we create is a turning inward and connecting with the sacred space that's already inside of us. But to help to go to that space, we can use all these external tools and props, because our environment and what is around us does reflect how we feel on the inside.
It's all about intention.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, you can do it with this intention of making the space more sacred, and it can be really anything. In the end. It's just like what is inside of you while you do it, and projecting this love and this presence, whatever it is you enjoy doing in your space.
Yeah, because you see it so much today when people practice yoga, that this feeling of sacredness is often not there. So many people practice yoga or do spiritual exercise in a very mechanical way. So the form is there and the actions are there, but the sacred space that we want to get to inside is not opened. And this is why it's so important to, when we do practices or when we do things that we want us to connect to our soul, to connect to spirit, that we do it with that intention from the beginning of the sacredness.
Yes. So with that said, we can still share what we like to do, what we enjoy playing with. Maybe we can start with what's in front of us.
Actually, we have a round carpet here. And I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I did go a little bit through this witchy phase, and I think all of us did. So maybe you also picked up a stick at one point with your girlfriends and you draw a circle around you. So this using shapes and forms has been engraved in human spiritual practices forever to create a sacred space, whether it's through drawing a sacred or magic circle around you or sitting inside a star or something like that.
And also everything that's related to sacred geometry, of course, you can look into it, the flower of life, all those things, using those shapes to meditate, to look at, drawing them yourself, it's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, so sometimes even just having those shapes around, whether it's a round carpet or having a flower of life on your wall or a beautiful painting, it already brings that energy into your room, into your space.
I remember going to someone's place where he was building those shapes in his garden to meditate inside. And so you had this garden with huge triangles and all those sacred geometry.
That's cool.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, nice. Well, I didn't have that, so when you said let's make a video about creating sacred space, I went around my room and around the house and I collected all the things that we usually use to create sacred space, also when we're facilitating groups and group work. Some people enjoy making little altars. So I've created a little altar here with 3 statues and a little candle. And candles bring beautiful energy into the room. And they are also a way of offering, of turning on light, of giving light. And when you make altars, I think the most important thing is that you are resonating with the altar that you're creating, or that the things that you're putting on your altar have a meaning to you, because it's all about that feeling. So if you feel connected to Buddha, Or even if just the statue of Buddha gives you this feeling of clarity, of peace, makes you feel peaceful, then that is great. And if you don't feel a connection with these statues at all, then there's really not so much point in using them, but perhaps you'll make an altar of stones or an altar of leaves or branches.
Feathers.
Feathers, yeah.
If you're going on a walk and you see cool objects and you like picking them like us, and you know what your resonance is, it's like the natural things that you find yourself rather than,
So it's really all about the feeling. An altar is something for you to look at and to really feel like you want to go onto your knees in front of it and connect with that beauty in front of you and feel that silence reflected inside of you. So it's really just something for you. It's not about religion.
It helps also if you're more into specific, like Buddha, to have a spiritual teacher you like a lot, to have a picture, it can help.
To stay connected to a spiritual teacher if you have one.
Then you have all the pyromaniac arsenal. We have some sage. I never used it so much in my practice, but I know you did.
I have, So these are all natural plants that you put a lighter to, and their smoke purifies the air. So there's things like sage. We have palo santo as well.
Yeah.
Now,
some more used to.
Yeah, it has a very sweet smell. And the sage is a bit more like herby, smoky, I would say. With some of the products like the palo santo, the trees are cut down a lot, so we like to use it sparingly and really only with the intention of creating sacred space and not overuse it. There's also beautiful other resins like frankincense that you can also put on coal and burn. Has an amazing smell, fresh frankincense. I've never owned it, but what I like using sometimes is also essential oils. So here I have a frankincense essential oil. I don't think you can see it, but you get it in these small bottles, and also lavender. Sandalwood is also really nice. So I think we connect through the senses as human beings. So we have the visuals, like we just said, with the shapes. Colors can also help. Color that really touches you and speaks to your soul, but also smells. And then on the natural side, there's also, of course, all these commercial incense. They are great. I have to say, I'm a yoga teacher, so I have taught in rooms with a lot of incense for many, many years, and I actually feel allergic to them now. I feel that I've been around them too much, so it makes my eyes a bit itchy, I sneeze. So I'm personally not a fan of incense anymore, but a lot of people love them, and they're very easy to use. You just buy them in a shop.
Also keep in mind that those incense, traditionally they're used in temples with a lot of space, air going through.
Yes, airflow.
It's not like a double window, all sealed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Here when we're using them, we're creating a lot of smoke for our lungs. It's not very healthy. So if you do, try to aerate the space and make it also flow, because if you're just like bathing in this smoke bath, it's not the best.
So there's the creating a sacred space that you do by placing objects and decorating the space in a way that you create a sacred space. Then there are ways to clear the energy in the room, like for example using incense, palo santo, sage. So you're working with the smokes and the smells of herbs and plants to clear the energy in the room. And you can also do that with vibration. For example, if you feel like the air in the room is a bit stagnant, or it's not very harmonious in a certain moment, you can just walk around the room and just clap. Just walking from corner to corner along the walls, and to just, especially in the corners of the room, to just get the energy flowing there. So you're putting intention and vibration into your whole space. And in the same way you can do that with a singing bowl. So you can just go around the room and just bring vibration to it, like this.
Also singing, of course, which can be very powerful, because you can also put an intention in your singing, and even singing words of love I love the space, I enjoy the space, and putting that in there.
Yeah, we kind of started with saying that actually the sacred space is on the inside, and then we gave you all these ways in which you can create sacred space on the outside. But then if we take it from the outside back closer towards ourselves, then there are also other things that we can do which are more close to our own physical bodies. And they can be things like having a special pair of clothing just for your spiritual practice, or having a special yoga mat that you don't walk on with your house shoes, that you really only touch with reverence when you're doing your spiritual practice. So yeah, the surface that you're sitting on, like a special blanket or a special mat, special pair of clothing. And also that when we start our spiritual practice, that we connect with that feeling of sacredness inside of us. And sometimes a certain body posture can help with that. For example, placing your hands together, placing them in front of your heart. For a lot of people, without doing anything special and just placing the hands here, it brings a certain feeling and a certain connection on the inside. So all these little things that you can do, they can help to create a sacred space on the outside as well as on the inside. So if you have any special ways that we didn't mention of how you enjoy creating your sacred space, please leave it in the comments, because I'm sure we all have our own ways that we do this. And if you have any questions that we can help you with and creating sacred space for yourself at home, please also just leave it in the comments and we will get back to you.
Yeah. And we'll see you next Sunday.
10:30 a.m. Brussels time. Yes.
We saw so many great reactions to our last video, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A lot of people, new people on the page. Welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
So welcome everyone.
Yeah.
And hope to see you all on Sunday.
Yeah. Have a beautiful day.